if you only remember one thing from this podcast, it would be this framework below that I think applies to artists, individual musicians, songwriters, whoever you are. And it's called OLDSO. OLDSO. OLDSO, right? Each one of these letters stands for something. I got to work on a new name for it, but here's how it's laid out. O is for ownership. L is for leverage. D is for distribution. S is for systems. O is for optionality. So I believe that no matter who you are in the music industry, the OLDSO framework can help you become more successful, and in a way where you can go from not surviving to surviving, and then hopefully from surviving to thriving. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. So ownership. If you are a single artist who writes their music, great, you have ownership. You're good here. But that doesn't really apply to what if you're a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer who's in a band? Maybe you're not even part of the writing process. Now, what ownership do you have? Because there's a big part of the pie that you aren't able to get. So what do you do? Well, as someone who has been through this process in the past myself, you have to create ownership for yourself. And again, I'm going to preface, there might be pain here, but the question is, what pain do you want? Do you want the pain of not being successful in music, or do you want the pain of maybe trying some stuff that's going to be hard that you don't want to do right now, that you might get good at and gain success over so that you can have a career in music? That's the question I'll pose. Whatever you pick is the right answer for you. That is totally fine. So again, for me, I play drums. It is like the worst instrument you can play in regards to having ownership in the music industry, right? Most drummers can't do a solo project. They don't write much music outside of drum parts. And that's, again, I'm generalizing. So kind of screwed when it comes to what ownership looks like. So for me, that's when I turned to making content online around the drums, teaching drum lessons online. I wanted something as a drummer that I could own myself. And so that's what I did. During the time where maybe some of the other people were writing, I had time to make videos, to make drum videos. That was my ownership thing. And I'll be honest, I didn't fucking want to do that. I thought teaching drum lessons was stupid. I thought it was kind of like a sign that you didn't make it. And so I had to really address my ego on that. And it's certainly not how I feel now. And I've actually come to really love it in so many ways, and just teaching in general. But again, I chose the pain of maybe hurting my ego, even though that was only like a belief that I held, so that I could have something that I owned. Now, L, leverage. How can you leverage the thing that you own? So again, I would go to, if you're a songwriter or if you are a musician or standalone artist, leverage to me is the online landscape, right? Leverage is being able to put something out that has the potential of getting in front of millions of people. What a crazy day and age that we can post something on a phone that all of us have in our bedroom promoting our music that has the potential to get to millions of people. That used to be so gatekept just a couple decades ago. That is our ultimate leverage. And so again, artist or songwriter, you have that option. Really, the leverage in my mind is kind of similar. If you are a guitar player, bass player, drummer, and you have ownership over, for me it was drum lessons. I don't know what it would be for you, but then leverage is the same thing, posting about that so that you can get your name in front of more people, which is exactly what I did. And I think that also goes to distribution. How can you distribute your thing that you want to monetize? Artists, songwriters, distribution is stuff like Spotify. I would argue even touring in a way. You're distributing your product out there. I think for individual musicians, distribution looks like, for me, it looked like creating a product around my own drumming expertise, around my teaching, that I could distribute through the videos that I was posting that brought me income. And so that goes into systems. How can you create systems where you are able to repeat these things over and over again? So what systems can you put in place to create more music more often that repeats on themes that have had success for you in the past, right? Systems, how can you create repeatable formats for you to consistently come back to? A really stupid, easy example of this is when we're writing with I Prevail, the systems are we have a weekly schedule. We're in the studio from 10 to 7, 5 days a week. Really easy system, but when you start to treat it like a job, you start to get results like you would at a job. Or systems, kind of the same thing for what I did with Drum Beats Online. I would create a schedule around making the videos, around making the product, and then pitching the videos. Now, this brings us to our last letter in Old Zo, which is O, and that is optionality. When you do these things, it opens you up to more options. For me in particular, I was able to play in a band and also build an online drum lesson product or school or whatever that is, audience, channel, and that gave me options. If for whatever reason the band ever fell apart, I had something over here that I owned, that I had leverage with, that I could continue to be a musician who made money without having to start from scratch. And I think the same thing if you're a songwriter, right? If you are the main songwriter in your band, but your band's not super active, what if you wrote songs for other people? Now you have options. You can write songs for other people when you're on the road. You don't always have to just do the thing that you're doing. I think especially in the music world, there's a lot of downtime, and sometimes a band or an artist only has so much top end. So if you can spread that across a few different things, you start to open up your options. Now, this is only a problem if it starts to take away from the main thing. So you always have to be aware of that. But for me, for a large portion of the last 10 years, I've had options. I've split my time, and that has really created a nice safety net for me so that if either thing blows up, I have the other thing. I think this is an important pivot from chasing the wrong things like fame and applause and chasing the right things of how can I live a life where I get to do something around my passion every single day. And there are going to be plenty of days where I'm doing things that I don't like, but it is in support of the thing that I do like. And that's a lot better than doing stuff that you don't like all day long for something that you don't also like, right? It's he who has a why to live can bear almost any how, right? So I think that's really, really important. He who has a why to live by can bear almost any how. For me, the why is playing music. And so because my passion is so strong there, I'm able to withstand any of the shit that I don't want to do because I'm so connected to the thing that I do want to do. And that's why I think it's really also important to stay connected to the small wins. That feedback loop, the fuel that's going to get you there is more based on if you can stay connected to the love of what you are doing and have that be greater than the pain that it takes to keep doing the thing that you love.